So a lot is made about how man destroyed nature. And I would submit to you that nowhere are the arguments more fierce than in the food industry. And there's good reason for that. From an entirely self-serving strategic perspective, for anyone who falls into any of these categories, anti-establishment, anti-Western, anti-free market, and most important of all, in fact, most all-encompassingly, anti-American, for anyone of that ilk, they know that we all have to eat. So this is better than going after coal, better than going after nuclear power plants, which I already mentioned. Food is everything. We all have to eat, whether we're red state, blue state, left, right, up, down, whatever. So while green schemes abound to reduce our reliance on perfectly safe technologies like the internal combustion engine and nuclear power, by driving up their costs through absurd regulatory frameworks that no one even understands, even the people who allegedly enforce these frameworks. And while we're all forced to use more and more ethanol every year and to rely on windmills instead, well, just hold on tight until the cost of buying groceries goes up by, 100% for starters, 100% easily. Jim mentioned earlier we spend about 6.4% of our disposable income in North America on food. I had a brief chat with Jim. Interestingly, when I was researching my book in 2008, 2007, 2008, it was 5.4. It's gone up. Everything goes up in price, but it's gone up as a function of our gross domestic product, as a function of how much money we earn as individuals, from 5.4 to 6.4%. What the organic activists envision is to start a 100% increase, and that puts us on par with who? Europe. You can get a really nice car in Germany, right? A very advanced nation, not some backwards country. No offense to anyone, I'm Russian background, but they're not some Eastern Bloc country, right? Where they hammer things together with, blacksmith technology. No, Germany, very highly advanced country, just like France. And they spend double what we spend on food. That's the starting point for the organic activists. And like I say, they're trying to get all of you to play along. 100%, 200%? Do I hear 300%? Okay, I'll just jump right ahead. 900%. Where did I get that? 900%. That's what they pay in Cuba for their food. 900% is 10 times what we're paying. And it all boils down, in the big marketing pitch, to food security, right? Because all the food you guys produce, well, that's insecure, right? It relies on high-tech things like high-boy sprayers, patented herbicides, right? Whether it's mechanical or scientific chemistry, technology, well, that might all go belly up someday, right? The Arabs might cut us off oil again. How will we transport food around the nation? So they stress, and they got people listening, that in order to have food security, you must have at least a certain percentage of your economy reliant upon local and organic food. Just in case all the trucks drive off the road tomorrow. Something crazy like that. We need to move forward, always move forward. Yeah, you need backup plans. Like I think it's important in the Navy that they still know how to use a compass, even though we have GPS. But how much time does a sailor invest in making sure he knows how to use a compass, right? Nothing. That's good backup. That's a great backup plan. The organic activists want to have about 10 to 15% of the economy instead of right now 1.5%. So they want to grow by 10 times for a backup plan for food security. I would suggest to you though that if you plan for that kind of disastrous failure, if you have a backup plan, in other words, you might just cause the problem you think you're trying to avoid. And this is a bit flippant, and anyone who heard me last year already heard this one, so don't give it away. How many people here are married? Pretty much everyone. How many of you have a backup plan in case your marriage starts to fail? Right? Right there! Guy's the most honest guy ever. Thank you. Like an old girlfriend maybe? Old technology, right? Okay, on a much, much more serious note, who invented the digital camera? Good. Where's Kodak now? Why? Because they didn't bring it, they invented it and then they suppressed it. Because they were in the film industry. So, a young guy working at Eastman Kodak by the name of Steven Sasson invented and built the first digital camera using a charge-coupled device, image sensor, in, anyone care to guess the year? 1975. 1975, you can still buy the Ford Pinto, new off a Ford lot in 1975, folks. Kodak got exactly what they deserved. They prepared for failure. They didn't just prepare for the status quo. They forced all of us to buy film and develop it for 25 years. When the first digital cameras finally came out, the professional ones came out, they were like 50 or 100 grand. But the first consumer digital cameras came out in the 1990s. You were looking upwards of, 800 or 1,000 bucks. What you now pay for a really cool, full, video camera. Just a still digital camera. You spent more than that on film and developing, I guarantee you, from 1975 to the early 1990s. Thanks, Kodak. Look, you have to prepare for success. Even says so in the Bible, by the way, but I won't get into that. You have to anticipate it. And don't let anyone or anything stand in the way. So, if you come away with anything here today, it's that you have to innovate. And the companies you do business with, you have to expect them to do the same. You have to prepare to achieve. Because who's counting on you? Who? Your customers? Everyone. You guys aren't in the digital camera business, you're in the food business. Everyone is counting on you. Everyone who right now spends 6.4 rather than 12.8% of their gross income on food is counting on you. Or else they can move to France.